Alright, we're playback trading November 20th. Sorry for the ASMR sort of thing, but my daughter is sleeping. So no, this is such an interesting thing. It's already 12:30 in this day, and I traded quite a lot. And the reason was because I was super focused. I took a lot of losses at first, and then I rewinded it back, took more losses, rewinded it back, and now I think I got it figured out. All these right here are pretty much winners. We're doing only one contract, and as you can see, one contract only gets us $7.50. We are already at 53 bucks, so pretty profitable day. Some stuff up until like right here, I knew what was gonna happen, but everything after this is all just actually we didn't necessarily know. Well, yeah, we kind of did, but yeah, but it's I played back through it a couple times, and the reason I'm recording it this time is because I wanted to make sure I had this note down correctly and practiced it before I started saying anything. So essentially, we have a huge range day, meaning the swing low is way over here and the swing high is way over here. Massive range. This was a smaller range. That's a smaller range. This is actually, this could be used as viewed as the same way, but anyway, actually I think that one's bigger. Actually, one's pretty much the same size, right? I can't zoom out any further. It's actually, that one's actually a little bigger, but anyway, it's these massive range days, and you can see this like crazy up and down motion. It's almost like every second entry works, but the reason for that is because people try to keep on trading back to the highs and back to the lows. At this portion right here, people are gonna keep trying to trade back over here, so we can go over some trades real quick. What these are trades I actually took. You can see with the arrows of where I entered. We had a swing low here. It broke higher first and pushed on lower. That was your first opportunity to enter. This is already at 8:40 in the day. We took a ton of trades earlier, but there's so actually most of them were actually winners. But this particular, after this point and on, was just super difficult for me to trade, so I rewinded it and we set it back to one contract. We were trading 4 contracts earlier, and I mean, I was okay. Pretty decent runners, I think. I don't remember, but anyway, I think I got stopped out a couple times. But anyway, once I entry, it's your first opportunity to enter. You had just broken out of that range. Next entry is over here. You had a swing high, first entry, second entry. Going long here is the best idea because, oh yeah, here's a big key, big key. I'm gonna do this so I know the time slot in the video. Huge key, which is you want to make sure you are not thinking about the highs and the lows and trying to push the market in that direction, because that's what everybody is thinking. I'm doing this hand motion so that I know where to I know that there's a key thing to say, so when I'm scrolling through the video, I know anyway. But you want to go through, you want to use the most recent trends, the most recent spike, the most recent move, and go off of that. You have this strong push up, people are gonna go long. You have a strong push down, people are gonna go short to try to push the market back here, so going long here is the best option. So on a second entry, and then you had a swing on first entry, second entry, the market's pushing up, strong move up, people want to trade back to the highs. Second entry short, strong push down, you want to buy. Strong push up, you want to sell. Obviously the result there. And anyway, I think we got a loss here somewhere. I'm not sure. There was just no entries here actually. I was sitting here the entire time. Oh wait, no, maybe we fast forwarded because there's a couple entries here. I'm not sure why we didn't take some of these. Oh yeah, I fast forwarded a bit too fast here. That's what it was. I was watching, but I was just fast forwarding way too fast. You could have entered a one tick scuff trade there and would have shorted, and yeah, that would have been a good trade because you had a strong spike. People were going to try to trade back up here, and then here's another opportunity. People were going to use these lows to try to go long. Swing high first entry, scuff trade, one ticker, because it's still sideways and it's your first opportunity to go long. It hasn't really broke lower, and was actually what we did. But actually, it looks like going long there was the better option because you had a strong spike down. People are trying to trade back to the other side. And so here's where a loser comes in. We had a swing high first entry, second entry. People are shorting this thing. People might be playing off of that, but going long there was actually not too bad. We just got stopped out by like a tick or two. And if we had, but I mean, it could have worked out, but a scuff trade there was the best play because you just bounced off of these lows. I initially had it here, so maybe that's why I was a little bit off, but if you draw it off the bodies, you can see it's a little bit more accurate. So you know that, oh, there was a bounce there, maybe it's just a little bit higher right there, and as you can see, it fits pretty decently well. So then selling there on a scuff trade was actually the best option. And then here you had a strong push down, so buying here was the best option, but of course I fast forwarded on accident. Then you had a strong push up, selling here was the best option. Oh yeah, and we did too. And as you can see, happens right there. Then you get a swing high first entry. We bought right here, we got stopped out. This one was a little tough. It looks like I thought for sure everybody would be selling, but it turns out a ton of people started buying here. Excuse me. I think it's mainly because that was your first drop. In the minute chart, you could see that 10 o'clock drop right here. Or was it here? 10:20, 10:39. Yes, you can see that was the first drop, so people are gonna try and buy that spike. So that's what you needed at 1 minute chart. If you would have saw that, you wouldn't know to sell there. It's also that swing high first entry spike, so selling is the best option. And also, people also like to trade back into the highs if it doesn't look like market can push down all the way. So we'll see an example of that shortly. Here, we took a swing low first entry, second entry. Actually, yeah, no, that actually was the example. People like to trade back over here after that spike. So shorting there was actually the best option. This one was a little difficult. You had to swing low first entry, second entry. You would have got stopped out if you would have sold there. But the reason we didn't sell is because the market wasn't giving any sort of indication where it was trying to push to, because you can still imagine a ton of people trying to sell here. So the best option obviously would be to do a scuff trade, and that would have worked out. The reason I say obvious is because it pushes up. That's why we know it would. But obviously you wouldn't know that to do that right here. But I would say a scuff trade simply because people are still trying to push the market back to the other side, and since it does that little pullback, people are ready to bounce back onto this thing, thinking we're gonna get another one of those. But buying there is actually the best option. Okay, then we had a swing high, pushes up by a tick, then comes down. Then this is your second entry right here. People are playing off of this push up and are gonna try to trade back to here, thinking we're gonna retest that since we can't push back to the other side. And so scuff trade there works out pretty well, as you can see. And then we had a swing high first entry, second entry. Buying here was the best thing, simply due to the fact that everybody's chasing this in this direction. Does not work out actually. How far does this come out? So 2, 4, 5. Oh, I think this one might have got stopped out. So that's this one would have got stopped out. Interesting. So a scuff trade there actually. Oh wait, we have lows here. Yeah. So it looks like people could have bought here. The better trade would have been to do. Oh, you can't enter this on a one ticker, so you do it non-obvious. The reason you can't enter on a one ticker is because this is not a spike, and it's not with the trend. It's not an obvious. It's only a one ticker if it's an obvious or if it's a spike. Yeah. So this is your first opportunity to enter. I mean, an unobvious actually would have worked better there too. Yeah. So that would have worked out on a non-obvious. So swing high, 3 points out, easy. Yeah, so that was a good trade. Then we bought here. Simply due to the fact that everybody's chasing this and selling there. Oh wait, we bought there, and that was actually a good trade. Why did we do that? Interesting, interesting. I can't actually remember. That was the most recent thing. I started recording specifically because of this trade, and I can't remember why. Oh, it's because people are still trying to trade back into the other direction. And mainly it's because of our role, a swing low first entry, and that spike. People are gonna try to pick that top and try to trade back to the other side. Yeah, so I think that was an amazing trade there. Pretty lucky one if you ask me. And notice we stuck with the 950 tick chart just because the volatility pretty much matches up the same exact way as the minute chart. As you can see, swing low swing. There's 1, 2, 3, and a couple there. 1, 2, 3, and maybe just one there actually. Maybe a 700 tick. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4-ish. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, is it 1, 2, 3? Actually, none of them really match up. We'll stick with the 950, I think. Just because of the size of the bars are really small compared to like how they usually are. Actually, yeah, this would be way too small. So yeah. Actually, we're gonna switch to this because there's a second entry right here. Swing high first entry, second entry. Same thing on the. It barely shows on there, but yeah, we're gonna switch to the 450. Just entered a trade. As you can see, we just hit one contract. We entered here, exited right there. So we had the swing high first entry, second entry. I was super like, I almost went long here just because, but it's a scuff trade, and the reason why is because people are trying to trade back over here. Like we said in the beginning of this video, people like to trade back to the highs and back to the lows, and whatever is the most recent thing that they have, they'll use in order to as the evidence to trade in that direction and for that retest for that high and low. So we had this strong uptrend. This is their first opportunity to enter there. We just broke out of here. We came back, retested it already, so we don't really have to worry about shorting, going long, trying to stop the people who went short because they already did it a couple times. And so going short there on your first opportunity to go long is a good trade because everybody's trying to trade back into the highs again. So yeah, good trade. One tick entry, it works out very well, even though you're in that trade for a good long. Actually, not too long. Yeah. Good trade, good trade. We entered over here just because it was a little late. But yeah, it works out either way. You could have done a non-obvious just because of these highs, but it was your first opportunity to enter, so I like the one ticker there. Just entered the market. As you can see, it's just one contract here. I'll just let this play out. I'll be quiet though, won't say anything. Nice. So that was kind of scary, as you saw. But we had a swing high here. Kind of a triple top thing. And a first entry, second entry, huge spike, so one tick entry. And then this one's our signal bar, so we entered the market on a sell. And the 1 minute chart showed a huge drop real quick, so you can imagine a lot of people trying to buy right back into it and using that as the evidence. We're going to come back to here finally and tricked everybody that we were going short or going into the other direction, so they started buying. And yeah, that was a good trade. Yeah, bit scary, but yeah, we got the scalp. Pretty good trade. May I remind you, I thought this day was impossible when I first started trading. Before I started recording, and I redid it a couple times. I've never traded this far, by the way, and it was just seemed like the most difficult day. There's every single trade I took was like I took like 5-6 losers in a row, and like I'm missing something. And it was due to the fact that I kept doing 5-point entries, thinking we just gotta get these 5-point entries to work. Actually, it could have worked there. Actually, would be the best trade there, but it was a spike. that's pretty. That move is pretty much the same size as this move. So that one's a spike, but this one just happened a lot faster. Anyway, I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, in the beginning of the day it was so hard, but as soon as I realized that people try to trade back and try to trade back into the highs and lows, which is exactly what I was doing, which is why I had to configure my brain and be like, alright, everybody's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. That's why every single trade I'm taking is losing, because everybody's trying to push the market into that back to that high or back to that low, and that's what I was doing throughout the whole day. That's why I started taking more second entries, more higher lows and stuff like that. Yeah, and it looks like our price action or MPAT started working a lot better after like 11 o'clock ish. As you can see, swing low, first entry, second entry, going long there on the 1 second entry would have been the best play. Actually, no, it's not a spike, so you couldn't. You would have to do a non-obvious if you wanted to go long. And actually, I think you would have gotten the trade. No, you wouldn't have. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, just entered the market. Oh wow. Okay, so that was like the most scuffed trade I've taken all day. So easier entries here. Our signal bars over here. So we did a 5-point entry, swing low first entry, and at this point I decided if we kept pushing lower, I think a lot of people would start selling, thinking we're coming back over here. In which case we were right, maybe coincidentally or not, but I think we were pretty right because everybody started selling, and that's what really pushed the market up here. So that's 5 points out from here. I got a little worried or a little like confused here on what to do, but as you can see, once I knew with these lows that if it pushed past there, a lot of people were going to be convinced that we were going to push back to the other side of the market. So going long there worked out pretty well. It came pretty close to our stop. But yeah, we got that nice scalp. We had the correct overall idea, and yeah, once the market started to push down, a ton of people started selling, and that was a good trade there. Nice. Nice. Just entered the market. Might be a bad one though. Alright. Let's play it out. Yeah, bad trade. So what I had thought was that after that spike, people were gonna try to push the market back to the highs. That's what I thought, but that's incorrect. If we just stuck to a non-obvious trade after that spike, it would have worked, but we actually didn't know what was gonna happen here, obviously. I wanted to sell because of that spike, but looks like buying there on a non-obvious 3-pointer would have been the best play. A ton of people are gonna be, even though we bounced off the lows here, we came into the smaller range, as you can see, and a lot of people would have started to, man, those are some crooked lines, man. And since we bounce off these lows, everybody's gonna try to buy here. Oh wait, no, people sold. I'm actually kind of confused. The 1 minute chart. That's what happens when you don't use the 1 minute chart. But as you can see, you had a huge spike there. People were gonna start selling back down here after that huge spike. So you don't really want to join those orders. So buying there was the best option. Yeah, that was an interesting one. A little difficult one, I'm not gonna lie. Jesus. Just entered the market. Not gonna say anything. It's almost 2 o'clock. Nice. Alright, so we did a 5-point entry. We had a swing high, first entry, second entry. Just came off these lows, and I said to myself, since that huge drop came out from here, we can imagine a lot of people trying to trade back that, or trade that spike, or trade gonna be it for the day. I don't really want to take any more, but it looks like we might have another setup here. And people trying to go push the market back up that way. It's an interesting thing. I think people are always gonna try to trade those spikes because, as you can see, they try to trade that one, then they try to trade that one. So maybe that was the reason this one didn't work out well. Or where was it? Wherever it was. Right here. Yeah. Entered the market. Still got about 10 minutes left in the day. Nice, we got the scalp. We entered a tick late, so I mean a tick too high. But it works out. So the reason I went long here instead of short, it'd be kind of silly to be like, oh wait, you just came off the lows. Why are you trying to buy? You're supposed to trade against the people who are trying to trade back over here. But that's the thing. After a spike like that, I think people love to trade back and retest those lows to try to step out the people who are trying to trade back over here. Everybody knows that you're supposed to bounce between highs and lows. And so what people are going to do is you have to swing low first entry, second entry, and people are going to sell here and try to push the market back down because they know the most obvious thing that's going to happen is the market's going to push up. And so they want to trade against that. So they sell to try to push the market back here to for that retest. And buying there is the most it's the best option because it's also like a spike, pretty big move. That's your swing lows right over here. So when it's take entry, it works the best. And yeah, that was a good trade. And it looks like that's it for this day. It's $80. That's crazy. Hopefully we can do this well in real time. Prayfully, man. But you know how that goes. All right. It looks like we might actually have another setup here. Okay, let's go for it. Why not? Alright, we have swing high first entry, second entry, strong move down. We can imagine a lot of people trying to push the market on lower, but people are going to chase that big move, so I think going long here is actually the best option.
Alright, that's it, folks. Peace out. Stella's here.